Welcome back to the Higher Grade Help Podcast. I'm your host, Sina Martin, and today's episode is going to be a part two, in a way, to an episode I did a while back titled "You Deserve to Have a Structured Business as a Six-Figure Service Provider." And in that episode, I talked a little bit about taking some of the services that you've provided clients, specifically the ones that have gained um, results across various industries, um, services that you know have continued to provide value to your clients over the years, and pulling out specific strategies or specific parts of those services and turning them into digital products. I've talked about this before on um, other episodes. I just mentioned one of them, so you can go back through the podcast and listen to some of those other episodes where I covered this. I will link them in the show notes. And I've also spoken about this for years in so many different live streams and videos. And this Etsy store that I'm getting ready to walk you through what I did, how I did it, and how I made my first $100. It didn't just come out of thin air. It wasn't something I just created and thought, oh, I'm just gonna, add an Etsy store to my product line and change my entire business model. Because for the most part, up until me creating this store back in November of 2024, I sold high ticket only. Um, but this was rather me putting, my foot to the pedal, and me deciding at that point that I wanted to pull out parts of my services that I know for a fact have gotten results, tremendous results for different clients, and turn them into digital products for myself. During that time period of my life, back in 2024, we're going back, I guess, maybe about a year, maybe 13 months or so ago. I talked about this a little bit on the show as well, in the episode about boundaries and building healthy relationships in your life. That I went through a huge transition over the last 2 years. I moved states again, left Georgia, came back to Pennsylvania, um, separated from, um, got, I guess you could say, anyway, went through a huge breakup, things like that. Lots of things changed, right? And I had to switch my kids into a whole new school, new state, new place, new house, and pretty much became like a single mom during that time. So, and now I'm in another place of transition where I'm settled. I'm um um s- making changes in my business model again, because I'm exploring like a new phase of my career right now, back in a serious relationship. So things change, seasons change for us. And this is an example of how you can ebb and flow within your product line and within the things that you offer and the services that you sell. Um, and still like stay true to your mission, stay true to what your brand and what your business is all about. So let me just get into what I did, what this looked like, and what the results were. Now, I noticed that most of the content, when you look it up online, is people talking about how to get to your first 100 sales on Etsy. I started out with that. I was actually in a membership program um, a few months prior to me opening my Etsy store. And the membership program was all about digital products. It was actually geared to teaching, um, I would say, newer coaches, but also those who may have been used to selling high ticket for a extended period of time. And it was teaching us how to launch our own low ticket communities, right? As like a membership. Anyway, so I went through this program. It was a really great program, great information in it. Um, I went about trying to launch the community and the membership, and it didn't work for me, right? I'll just be honest. And I don't think it was because of the strategy. I just, at that time frame, I wasn't really focused in my business. I had too much going on in my personal life. So someone who was a part of that 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 membership that I was in came out with a product about starting your own Etsy store. And the way it was positioned was that she basically sold it as starting an Etsy store is a great way for you to get continuous leads into your coaching business. So she positioned it almost as like a lead magnet. So I said, oh, that's interesting. I never thought of, and I've tried so many different lead magnets. And you, if you're a service provider, depending on whatever industry you're in, you probably have done the same. Like we've done the newsletters, we've done all of that, right? So we've done the freebies, the free downloads, the free checklist, all that. So the idea of opening an Etsy shop and selling low, like lower price products as a way to introduce people to my business intrigued me. So I went ahead, purchased the thing that she was selling, and followed the strategy. So now we're going back into, I think this was in January when I kind of decided, like, oh, this is something I'm going to do. I did not get to it to September in 2024. And I'm being so honest with you. I did not get to this until September. So September 2024 rolls around. I decide, okay, you know what? I'm going to productize parts of the hiring process that I teach to my clients. That's what I'm going to turn into digital products. And if you've been in any of my coaching programs, if you were in Hire Great Help when we called it that, which was a 6 month group coaching program, and it took service providers through the process of refining their onboarding processes, their sales processes, and then ultimately hiring a new team member to manage those processes on your behalf so that you could go on and take on new clients. You could start a speaking business. You could write a book. You could add to your offerings for your company. That's what the whole program did. And then we rebranded it, renamed it, and started calling it Exponential. Now it's structured. So if you were in that program at any time during the changes, you recall me having an entire section in there about digitizing your services. And this also goes into another um, another like framework, or I'll say concept, not a framework, but a concept that I always teach, which is how to escape delivery deficits. If you're a service provider and you find yourself in these periods of deficit where you're not able to deliver the quality of services that you're used to giving your clients, it's because you're too heavily invested in the doing of the client work. You are the first point of contact for clients, and that becomes exhausting. That is a recipe for burnout, because if you don't have anything that could still generate revenue on the back end that's of a digital format, you don't have any courses, you don't have any digital products, any affiliate items you might be selling. If all of your money's coming from the doing and the service itself, that's a recipe for, you're just too heavily invested. What happens when you have to take some time off, if something happens in your life, or someone in the family gets ill, or you get ill, or something happens with your kids, whatever, and then you find yourself unable to carry a workload with 3 to 5 clients or 5 to 10 clients, then what? Then the strike payments stop coming in, and that's a problem, right? So I've always preached this with service providers. You should have something that is pulled out of your frameworks, out of your strategies, out of your methods, that you could digitize. Okay. So I think, just reiterating that, because I've said that for so many years, and I just reiterating that again here, and I'm going to show you step by step how I did it. So that's the concept. That's why I made this decision. So September comes around, 2024. Now I'm getting into the research phase. Um, what I did was, I knew that I was going to focus on selling digital products around the hiring process. I knew that I was going to help business owners with their hiring processes. Like I already mentioned, my clients have gotten incredible success with the work that my consulting company has done with them around team building, team leadership, and leadership development. So I started researching products on Etsy. What I did was I purchased a it was like it was like a PDF, but like I mentioned, the particular creator of the PDF was a coach who I discovered from a membership that I was a part of. Okay, so she was selling the PDF. I went ahead and purchased the PDF, which gave pretty good information, but it was only so much you could get out of a PDF. You know, that's not like a full fledged course. And so I used that as a springboard to start actually researching. Okay, what do I need to do to set up this Etsy store and get my first products up here? So the PDF instructed us to, our goal should be to get to our first 100 products listed. Not necessarily focus on getting your first 100 sales, but getting your first 100 products listed. That too still seemed overwhelmed. And I'm going to be honest with you. I launched my store back in, we'll say, let me check it here. I launched my store back in September. I think I got my first sale November 2024. We're currently, as of the date of this recording, it's February 2025. I'm not even at 10 products listed yet. I'm not at 10 products listed yet at all. However, I'm close to my first $150 in sales. So it will take some time to get to your first 100 products. I wouldn't even make that the goal. I think a goal, if I could go back in time, and this is a mistake I made that I want to share with you, is that I wouldn't set my sights so much on my first 100 listings. Um that's an overwhelming number to put in your mind when you're first getting started, because there is a lot to learn about Etsy. You have to do your research, you have to read the handbook. Like, there's a lot to sift through when you're getting started. And once you get started, you find some momentum, and then when you start seeing sales coming in like every other day, or a few times a week, it's satisfying. But it does take a bit to get there. Like I mentioned, I launched back in November and it's February, and I'm just getting the wind underneath of me. Like I said, I'm at 150 in sales. But it's passive, so that's a great feeling. And I've been here before with passive products. I know if you can get your first $100 passively, you can get your first 1,000 passively, you can get your first 10,000 passively, so on and so forth. It'll keep going. But it does take some time to set up. So I wouldn't even set the goal to be your first 100 products, like I learned in that particular PDF. I would just say get your first um, get your first 5 products listed, and the goal is you want one of them to be purchased at least 3 times. Once you have one of your products purchased at least 3 times, then like there's momentum you could place behind that, and then I would suggest turning your ads on. So I'll get into all of that, right? But let's back up. So I started doing my research um, to find out what product I wanted to create first. I knew what my theme was. I knew what I wanted to sell in regards to, I knew it was going to be some type of digital product of some sort. I knew it would be a download, and um, I was leaning towards some type of like ultimate bundle, because when you go on Etsy, you start looking like in the HR space, which is where my store is listed. You'll see that there's like the ultimate human resources bundles. They have all of the templates there. There's like all of your employee onboarding document forms, all that kind of stuff, right? Resume templates. There's budgets or all kind of things. So pre-employment physical paperwork, it's all types of things there. So it gets a little overwhelming again with the research, but I just wanted to look and see what was out there, and what people were buying and what the reviews said about some of those best-selling products, so I could figure out where I would best fit in the market. Like any other company, or I'm sorry, like any other business, you have to do that with your Etsy store too, if you want to start seeing sales. Um, so once I did that, I looked into what the hot products like in my niche was. My niche is employment, and I started looking at what the hot products were. I paid attention to the fonts, the design, the colors, like that look. The ones that sold very well had the luxury look, that black and gold or blue and white, like the luxury feeling. Um, Large bundles sold well. Anything that was a customization also does extremely well on Etsy. So, and then I landed on job application templates. So once I looked at that, I saw, oh, okay, this is right up my alley. I have a unique strategy for how I teach my clients how to hire and onboard their new employees. And not only that, that's where our services shine because we come in and really help these different service providers um, to not only pick great talent, but to onboard them, train them, and get them started with managing their customer success systems on their behalf. That's where we shine. So it made sense to create job applications that would assist people, that would allow me to capture and start a conversation with people who were getting ready to embark on that journey, right? So once I found out where my fit was, then I went ahead and decided what my first set of products were going to be. And to be honest, I'm looking at this first set of products. I probably have created maybe four off of this list. I have a list of 6, 12, 18 is sitting in front of me. I'm probably only four in. So there's still a lot of like digital products for us to create. But I'm taking my time with it. And right now I do have one that's a winner. So that's the process, what I went through, how I got started. And then from there, um, I went ahead and listed, my first product. I made it in Canva, super easy. You want to be careful when you go in Canva or any of those other, um, what's the word for that? Any of those other like tools like that. Because if you just pull out one of their templates that are AI generated or whatever, you can't just download their template, slap it on Etsy, and sell it. Etsy's very finicky about their community and you honoring their rules. So any like foul play in regards to things you didn't originally create or edit, they're going to hit you with, some type of fine of some sort or some type of ding on your account, and you don't want your Etsy store closed down. Etsy's very particular, okay? So when I got in Canva, I looked at what they had there for digital products and, job application templates and new hire checklists and things like that. I chose one that I liked the design of it, the color of it, the outline, and then I went in and totally added my own original content. And it was content in line with what I teach my clients, my coaching clients, and the service I provide to my done for you clients that guides them through the process of hiring a new team member, okay, employee or contractor. And so I went in there and designed it personally. It took quite some time, to be honest. That was a process. Um, that does take a few hours to get it how you want if you're going to make it an original, which it has to be for it to be on Etsy. And then once that was done, I edited it. I should back up because I missed something. Um, I edited the design. I made sure I had like my thank you. There's a When someone purchases your products on Etsy, you have to have a thank you PDF. Basically, it's like a digital download for them. Once they purchase the product, they should see. It looks like a landing page. It looks like a one-page website, but it's basically just a PDF saying thank you for purchasing this product. Here's where you could download it. Here's where you could access like the help area, the resource page for Etsy, and then whatever else you want to say on the page, which you should take advantage of that bottom portion. But that's going like deep into strategy, so I won't go too deep into that. And then I had all that set up. So at this point, I thought I was just ready to like list and go, right? So, but what I did was before I put this listing up there first, I found on YouTube, okay, YouTube University, I found on YouTube there was this masterclass for Etsy sellers, and let me find. Oh, I know the guy's name, Ryan Hoke. Shout out to Ryan Hoke. I hope I'm saying his last name right. But he has this deep dive on YouTube, and it's like 3 or 4 hours long. I'll be honest with you, it took me probably, I don't know, maybe 2 days to get through it because I had to watch a little bit and pause, watch and pause, like in between, doing things for my kids and being a mom and all that. So, but I got through it probably in about 2 days, 2 or 3 days or so. And it's just a really good blast of um strategy, resources, etiquette, like how to how to succeed on Etsy. And this is coming from somebody who has a very success. He has multiple Etsy stores, very successful Etsy stores. So I watched that just so I could kind of get myself acquainted before, because I don't like to get on new platforms or start um or add. I don't like to add things to my business without me having a grasp or at least understanding like the platform that I'm using or the product that I'm trying to sell on the platform itself. So I needed to. I've purchased on Etsy as a customer, but being on Etsy as a seller is a different ballgame. And so I don't like going into things blind, especially when it comes to business or strategy at all. And so that's why I watched his that masterclass he had on YouTube, and it was totally free. It was amazing, amazing. It gave me the tools. It taught me how to do the automations, all of that. So I'm not there yet. I'm still very much doing things manually, because at this point I'm at 150 sales almost and 20 customers. So I'm still a newbie, but I have a grasp on where I'm going when I start to automate. So I watched that masterclass. Then I listed my first Etsy product. Okay. And to be honest with you, it was quiet. The first 2 months, I was just like, this is not working. What am I doing wrong? Like, what do I need to, what's happening? I think I promoted it a few times on social media. And that's one thing about this. I've truly haven't done much promoting on social media. You'll see me post about it a few times here and there. I don't even think I've sent it out to my email list yet. This was something that I just wanted totally passive on the side as a way to start digitizing some of the services that I'm no longer offering in Higher Grade Help itself. Higher Grade Help is going on to do like live events. We're doing more. Um, I will get into like the community. I am going to relaunch a community and do it right this time, or at least to the level that I will be satisfied with. But we're not offering as much done for you services as we used to, just because I don't have the capacity to do it now, to be honest. And this is why I wanted to digitize and start to take some of these successful services and put them into digital products, which I advise you do the exact same thing. So that was my process. I launched, let me go in my Etsy shop so I can give you the actual dates. I, let's see here. I'm just pulling up my history so I can tell you what okay, so I went ahead and launched the store. October 5th was the day that I got my first, that I had the first person like favorite favorite one of my products in my Etsy store. October 10th, I still had another person favorite it, and then November 6th was the first sale I ever received. So I probably listed this. I would say I would say late September, early October. That's actually when I launched the store itself, and then by November 6th, which is let's say 6 to 8 weeks later, I got my first sale. And from there, it was slow at first. So November 6th, I got two sales. I got two more sales on November 22nd. November 25th, I got a sale. December 2nd, December 4th, I had two, and then it was quiet. I didn't get anything even through Christmas, which was really disappointing. Um, but after Christmas, I got maybe three more sales for December. Quiet. January was pretty good. That's when I started catching a rhythm, and I started noticing sales coming in at least once a week. And then it started going up to twice a week. And then from twice a week, I would see, multiple sales coming in a day. So at this point, I have 8 active listings, 25 orders, and we're at 135 in revenue. So that's like an overview of how I made my first $100 on Etsy. But I more so want you to see the strategy behind it. I think that's what's making it like successful. And this is only with me running Etsy ads, which are they're okay. They're much they're inexpensive compared to like Facebook or Instagram ads, which I haven't touched any of that yet for this particular leg of my business. And Etsy ads, they're okay. Just in the beginning, don't expect to see too much revenue coming to you. Like a lot of it's going to go back into the ads, to be honest, and that's what you want in the beginning. But without me putting any real muscle behind this yet, it's doing well, and I'm happy that I'm happy that I invested the time I did invest to get this off the ground. So I'll leave all of the information in the show notes if you want to check out the Etsy store, shop around. If you want to grab something for yourself, for your team, We have gear on there for those of you who are like in the healthcare field, and you you might want to check out some of our gear over there um, for the healthcare space. And then those of you who are in like the financial sector, you're doing taxes, tax preparer, CFOs, things like that. I have something special coming out for you soon because we're going to be doing a workshop, and I will have some of the templates that we'll use in the workshop listed on the Etsy store. So I'll be referencing that in the next like coming episodes. But overall, I just want to encourage you that if you're a service provider of any sort, like if you're offering tax services, if you're offering doula services, if you are a consultant, a coach, if you're a person that's doing done for you work for clients where it requires your energy, your space, your time, and your mental capacity, I want to encourage you to get out there and digitize parts of what you do. You know that your shit is good. Like get out there and put some of it into digital format so that you can have new customers, leads, even if it's low ticket sales coming in to keep fueling your business. And then you give yourself space to not always have to be on for done for you clients. And that is the goal. We want work life balance. That's all we ever talk about over here on the Higher Grade Help podcast. And I want to remind you that this is a way to get it. So if you have any questions about setting up the Etsy store, what we did, strategy, things like that, go ahead and book a perfect process consultation with me. The link is in the show notes below. That my personal clients get access to me at least once a week, where they send me processes or things that they're working on in their processes that they're trying to improve in their business. Typically it's their hiring processes, their onboarding processes, or their sales processes. And I'll review them and send them feedback back, and they get access to that on a weekly basis. But I'm opening the door for you to experience that at least one time. I'll leave the link in the show notes so you can book one. It's only $50. So if you want me to look at your hiring process, your onboarding process, or if you want to start digitizing some of your services and you're wondering how we were able to do it, and you'd like to follow the same process I did, I'd be happy to talk with you about that. So book a perfect process consultation. Check out the Etsy store, and yeah, let me know your thoughts. Can't wait to hear what you think and what you have to say about this in the comments below. Okay, awesome. So I will talk to you soon and see you for the next one.